Dynorg is a think and do tank. That's how we define ourselves. So we do analyze how technology shapes politics nowadays and how politics shapes technology. So in this synergy, it's the nexus of a lot of progress that we are witnessing today. And we try to understand the implications, the ethical implications especially of technology, and operate so that it becomes more human and it doesn't exclude people, it doesn't harms the environment, and it allows an interdisciplinary development for those that engage new platforms and new technologies. We advise the European Commission with various projects, and we are researching and developing free and open source software that people are free to study, to adapt, to modify, and to redistribute their modifications. We believe in the arts as one of the important parts of the development of new concepts, and we see artists not just as dissemination actors, not just to build a sort of marketing image for what we do. We involve artists because artists are good at thinking out of the box. We have one project running for developing a social wallet. So we are early adopters of Bitcoin and blockchain technologies, and we are using these technologies to build completely transparent wallets that communities can adopt, to have participatory budgeting systems, so to have transparency and agility for management also of finances within organizations and within communities. And we are developing this hoping that we can really bring a progress into the dialogue about basic income and other ways to actually support people that are into what we call PI conditions, conditions of poverty, of uncertain income, of unemployment, and of precarity. So that is one research that we are doing, and it's both political and technical. Another research we are doing is called Decode, which stands for Decentralized Citizen-Owned Data Ecosystem, which means research on how citizens can own their data. They can actually control it. They can know when their data is used and not just give it to a corporation to solve their problems. So we impact cities. We are working together with the municipality of Amsterdam and Barcelona to study what is the impact, for instance, of Airbnb or of Uber on their societal development. These companies are not only coming from abroad, they are not only tax evaders, but they are also accumulating all the data from the cities and using it to provide services to the citizens. The problem with this is that, you see, cities are very dense places, dense settlements, full of desires, needs, of demands, of possibilities. And the relational value, putting people in touch, is a big value which is being extracted, is almost the new oil, some people define it, by these companies. What these companies do, they silo this data into their own databases, and it cannot be used, not even by the municipality, not even by the people that are running their businesses on the city. So they are de facto creating monopolies. So we think this is asymmetrical and unjust situation. We want people first and foremost to be in charge of their data and then grant it to organizations that are to be identified and have to be abiding to the laws. Organizations that provide this sort of service. So we are looking into policy making on these regards, but also on tools that can actually improve this sort of situation. There is another project that we really pitch and people can really understand it because it's a very simple revolution. It's a revolution that is taking a step back and claiming a right. It's the revolution to switch off. If we look at what is called the Internet of Things, which is a growing big industry nowadays, we have a lot of connected things, and right now all these things open contexts of communication without us even asking. They go online and they start exchanging data about us, about our environment. People are not anymore in control of this. These things can even be hacked and on your behalf just spam around or circulate information that you don't want to circulate through your network. So it's a very simple thing that we can do, is claim our right to switch off these devices, to have control on our own network, as obvious as it sounds. We are working on a project called DAOs, We can call it also in Dutch doos. It's just a box that you connect to the internet, and it's a filter, and it tells you these devices are right now connected on the internet, and you can switch them off, so they go offline. Or for instance, you can say they don't communicate to Microsoft or to Adobe or Apple, because I do not want them to communicate with the manufacturers. In the back of the 90s, in the end of the 90s, we call this software spyware. There was a term for it. And now we don't use this term anymore, because most of the software that we use is spyware. It's just connecting back to someone telling them about us. Art is not propaganda. That is a deformation of art that has been demanded to art by many regimes which were despotical. Art is critical thinking. Art is questioning what is happening. Art is also looking for beauty. And combining all these things, it takes a lot of ability, a lot of work, and a lot of learning for this. What I want to say is that art is not extraneous to other fields. Is probably a dialogue across fields. It can be an interdisciplinary dialogue, and that's why it's very important to have art and science and technology on the same page at the same table today, because it's never an isolated thing. And if we think that on one side there are the humanities and on the other side the technology and the science, is because we are too stupid to understand that everything is an hybrid and everything speaks to each other. So having an holistic vision is a quality of some artists, and I would say those are the best at really changing the world.